If you're in your 20s, you know the feeling. That quiet, nagging anxiety that you're somehow falling behind. It's this decade defined by pressure, by uncertainty. But what if that feeling isn't a sign that you're doing something wrong? What if it's actually a sign that you're exactly where you need to be? Okay, let's really dive into this. We're gonna unpack what truly matters in this chaotic, amazing, and transformative decade.
So here's our game plan. First, we're gonna tear down the biggest lie about your 20s. Then, we'll reframe this whole decade as your own personal identity laboratory. After that, we'll get practical and talk about the core pillars, relationships and money, then health and career. We'll wrap up by giving you the right mindset for the long haul and leave you with this idea. You aren't lost, you're just becoming. All right, let's jump right into the heart of the matter, the great lie. This is all about that massive, crazy-making gap between how things look on the outside and how they actually feel on the inside.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? And it's not like there's some big conspiracy. People aren't trying to lie to you. It's just that what we all project, especially online, is a highlight reel. It's the edited, filtered version of life. Totally stripped of all the doubt, the wrong turns, and the late-night panic that is a real part of everyone's story. So when you're scrolling through all that, it can make you feel uniquely broken, like you're the only one who didn't get the instruction manual. But I'm telling you, you're not.
And this right here, this is why that feeling is so universal. Look at the left side, what you see. The promotions, the engagements, the perfect travel photos. It all looks so deliberate, right? Like everyone else is following a perfect script. But then on the right, you've got what you feel, which is the internal reality for pretty much everyone. It's messy, it's uncertain, and it feels totally unfinished. That gap, the one between their highlight reel and your behind-the-scenes footage, that's not a flaw. That's just the human condition in your 20s. And that leads us to the most crucial point. Comparison will absolutely steal your joy. It's a silent thief that works while you scroll. You're measuring your chapter 2 against someone else's chapter 20. You're comparing your messy first draft to their polished, published book. But the reality? Most people are just making it up as they go. They're nodding confidently in meetings and then going home to Google how to adult, just like you are. The second you stop measuring your unique, winding path against their fake, curated timeline, you get your focus and your sanity back. So if we all agree that feeling uncertain is normal, then what's the point of it? Well, this leads us to a totally new way of thinking. Let's reframe this entire decade. It's not a race to some finish line. Think of it as time spent in your own personal laboratory.
This idea is the key to everything. Your 20s are an identity laboratory. Every single thing you do, every experiment you run, whether it succeeds or fails, is just you collecting data. That startup that crashed and burned, that's data on your risk tolerance. That relationship that ended badly, it's data on what you truly need in a partner. That job you couldn't stand, that's priceless data on what kind of work completely drains your soul. See, in this decade, mistakes are cheap. Your identity isn't concrete yet. The goal isn't to get everything right on the first try. The goal is to gather as much information about yourself as you possibly can.
So, how do you actually use this lab? It's a simple but really powerful cycle. First, you have to try something. You have to take a leap, especially if it scares you. That's the courage part. Second, movement creates feedback. You can't figure out your career just by thinking about it in your room. You have to do something. You learn nothing by standing still. Third, that feedback, good, bad, whatever, it gives you clarity. You learn what you like, what you're good at, what you actually value. And fourth, and this is crucial, you just repeat the process. The biggest mistake you can make is to freeze, to get paralyzed because you're scared of making the wrong choice. That's the only way to guarantee you learn absolutely nothing. Just let that sink in for a second. We are all conditioned to see failure as a setback, as losing ground. But in the identity lab, it's the exact opposite. Every so-called failure is just a massive injection of data. It's a shortcut to wisdom. It tells you it doesn't work, which is just as important as knowing what does. You know, the people who really thrive later in life, they aren't the ones who never failed. They're the ones who failed a lot, failed early, and squeezed every single drop of learning out of it before moving on to the next experiment. Okay, so with that mindset locked in, let's talk about the practical foundations you need to be building. We're going to start with 2 external pillars that quietly shape your entire life: the people you surround yourself with and the way you handle your money. This is the absolute truth about your social life in your 20s. For a minute, forget about time, forget about money. Your most limited, most precious resource is your emotional energy. You just can't be everything to everyone. The people you choose to invest that energy in, the ones you celebrate with, the ones you vent to, the ones you build with, they are literally co-authoring your future self. They're shaping your thoughts, your habits, and your ambitions every single day. because of that, you have to be intentional. Think of your relationships like a garden. You've got to actively water the connections that challenge you, that support you, that are genuinely happy for your growth. At the same time, you have to learn how to lovingly prune the connections that keep you stuck, the ones that constantly drain you or make you feel small. And that's one of the hardest things to do in this decade, letting go of people you have a history with. But listen, it's not selfish. It's a necessary act of self-preservation. It's how you make space for the people who are going to build you up.
Now, let's pivot to money. I know this is a huge source of stress for so many of us, but here's the thing. Even if you're not making much right now, you have an asset that billionaires would literally kill for, and that asset is time. Time is the jet fuel in the engine of wealth, all thanks to the eighth wonder of the world, compounding.
And this chart says it all. Seriously, look at this. The bar on the left, that's someone who starts investing a small, consistent amount at age 25, maybe just $100 a month. Now look at the bar on the right. That person waits until 35, and to try and catch up, they invest way more, say $300 a month. But even though they put in more of their own money, the person who started earlier ends up way, way ahead. Why? Because their money had more time to make its own money. That's the magic. What you do now, even with a little, has a massive, outsized impact on your future.
So, the takeaway here is that financial maturity isn't about how much you make. It's about building a system. Your willpower is going to fade. You can't rely on feeling motivated to save money. But a system, like an automatic transfer that happens the day you get paid, that runs whether you feel like it or not. And look, the goal here isn't to get rich quick. The real goal is to buy yourself options. Financial health gives you the freedom to quit a toxic job, the runway to start a side project, the ability to handle an emergency without panicking. That peace of mind, that control, that is priceless. And willpower won't get you there, but good systems will.
Okay, so we've covered the external pillars, relationships, and money. Now, let's turn inward and talk about your internal foundation. This is about your two greatest personal assets, the ones you carry with you everywhere you go, your health and your professional skills.
You know, in your 20s, your body feels invincible, right? You can pull an all-nighter, live on pizza and coffee, and just bounce back. But that feeling of resilience, it's temporary. It's a grace period. It's like you're running up a huge tab with your future self. And believe me, eventually that bill comes due. The choices you're making right now are quietly setting the entire baseline for your energy, your mood, and your physical capacity for the next 50 years. So what does that mean in the real world? It means you have to prioritize the boring fundamentals. Sleep isn't a luxury, it is the foundation of literally everything you do. Find a way to move your body that you actually enjoy so it doesn't feel like a chore. And just learn the basics of nutrition. The motivation here has to change. This isn't about looking good for a season. It's about building your capacity for a lifetime. It's a direct investment in your future energy, your focus, and your ability to handle stress.
Now let's talk career. The old idea of joining one company and just climbing a single predictable ladder for 40 years, that's dead. It's an old map for a world that just doesn't exist anymore. Today, a career is much more like an investment portfolio. It's a diverse collection of skills, experiences, and projects that you build over time. The goal isn't just to get higher on one ladder, it's to build a resilient, adaptable portfolio of skills that can survive and thrive in any economy.
So how do you build this portfolio?
Well, first, stop asking, what's my one true passion? That's too much pressure. Instead, start asking, what kinds of problems do I actually enjoy solving? Focus on getting skills that are valuable anywhere, like great communication, or sales, or understanding data. And remember, the single most important skill of all is just learning how to learn. Every single job, every side project, even the internship you absolutely hated, it adds something valuable to your portfolio. Sometimes the most important lesson is learning what you never ever want to do again.
All right, we've covered the what, the pillars you need to build. Now let's talk about the how. This is about the internal toolkit, the mindset you need to actually navigate this journey without burning out or just giving up.
This is probably one of the biggest, most misunderstood lessons of this decade. We all wait. We wait to feel confident before we apply for that job, or ask that person out, or start that project, but that's completely backwards. Confidence is not a requirement for taking action. It is a result of taking action. See, courage is taking the step while you're still scared. Confidence is the feeling you get after you've done the scary thing. When that little voice inside says, "See, I handled that." You can't think your way into feeling confident, you have to act your way into it. So how do you build that courage day by day? Forget about making these huge, heroic leaps. Just focus on getting 1% better. Small, consistent choices. Reading for 10 minutes, saving $5, going for a short walk. These are so much more powerful than doing something intense once in a while.
You see, the compound effect isn't just for money. It's working on your habits, your knowledge, your relationships, and your skills every single day, whether you notice it or not. Consistency will always beat intensity in the long run.
Okay, let's bring this all home. We've taken apart the lies, we've reframed the uncertainty, we've talked about the pillars. Now let's tie it all together with the most important idea of all.
I think the biggest mistake we all make is treating this decade like it's the main event, like it's the race itself. It's not. It's the warm-up. It's the time you spend building the foundation, the habits, the self-knowledge, the relationships, the resilience that's going to support the entire structure of your life for decades to come. The goal isn't to have it all figured out by the time you're 29. The real goal is to spend the decade building the person who can figure it out over and over again for a whole lifetime.
So, I'll just leave you with this one last thought. Forget about being perfect. Trying to be perfect just leads to paralysis because you'll never feel ready. Your future self, the person you hope to be in 10 or 20 years, they're not looking back and judging you for your mistakes or your messy apartment. They are just hoping that you are intentional, that you made choices, even tiny little choices, that pointed you in the direction of growth. So what is one small intentional choice you can make today, right now, that your future self is going to thank you for?
Like, comment, and share this video. Subscribe my channel now. Thank you for watching.